Hello ladies and gentlemen, Teveron here, and welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Magic, where this week we are going to be playing a very bad deck. The reason for that is the duels meta is pretty stale. I haven't been able to develop anything that I feel is good enough to be featured as a good deck, so we are going to play a deck that I have been playing off and on for a little while now that I play simply to have fun. Don't expect us to win a bunch of games with this. We're either going to lose or win in spectacular fashion, but without further ado, let's look at this list. Alright, this is a Grixis list. It looks like we have green in the deck. We do have green cards. We don't actually have any way to cast them from our hand, so kind of ignore that as far as mana goes. We're running 4 Cathartic Reunion. As an additional cost, we discard 2 cards and then draw 3 cards. This allows us to put our big, fat creatures into the graveyard so that we can reanimate them later while drawing us, hopefully, reanimation spells. Also playing a pair of Cultivator's Caravans just to help us power out our large spells more quickly, as well as being a semi-hasty threat. If we have this out and reanimate something, we can use whatever we reanimated to crew it and then swing with it. Also running a pair of Seer's Lantern. Again, this is to allow us to accelerate. All of our reanimation spells cost 5 or more, and it would be really nice to be able to cast a reanimation spell on turn 4 instead of turn 5. This helps with that. Additionally, it has an ability that allows us to scry, should we need to. Another of our draw and discard spells, 2 Oath of Jace, draw 3, discard 2. This text at the bottom is non-existent in this deck. We aren't running any planeswalkers. And still in the vein of drawing and discarding, a pair of catalogs. Instant speed, draw 2 cards, discard a card. I think you may see a theme here. We are not running actual spot removal in the deck. Well, we're running one thing that could be considered spot removal. I have gone the route of just all of the sweepers. We're running 2 Radiant Flames for early game, and 2 Languish, 1 Yahenni for mid to late game. Again, biased in favor of the Languish because it's very rare that we want to cast a 3-mana card for free off of Yahenni's expertise, and the extra -1/-1 that Languish provides is relevant a large amount of the time. The first of our reanimation spells is Necromantic Summons. Straight up 5 mana, put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield. We can steal cards from our opponent's graveyards as well. If we have Spell Mastery, that creature gets bigger. Again, a reanimation spell will rise from the grave. Just straight up put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. No other upsides to it. And now we get into our fat that we are trying to reanimate. We are running 2 Drowner of Hope because it puts 3 bodies out on the board, as well as providing utility, allowing us to tap things down. Also, since it is blue, we can hardcast it from our hand if need be. This is the spell I said that could be considered spot removal. Noxious Gearhulk destroys another creature when it enters the battlefield, also can gain us a bit of life. Greenwarden of Murasa combos well with our reanimation spells. We can reanimate it, then use it to rebuy the spell that just brought it back to life. This is green. We cannot cast it from our hand. We need a spell to put it into our graveyard. And the last of our reanimation spells, Ever After, 2 of them. This allows us to return 2 creatures to the battlefield, although it's only from our graveyard, and then it is put on the bottom of its owner's library. This is ostensibly to keep people from abusing rebuying it, like with Greenwarden, but we are running a couple of ways to shuffle our deck after it goes onto the bottom to try to draw it again. Gaea's Revenge can't be countered. Can't be targeted by spells that aren't green, and it is haste. 8/5 to boot. Again, only castable from our graveyard, as it were. along with the untargetability theme, 2 Plated Crusher, a 7/6 with Trample and Hexproof. Omnath, Locus of Rage. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, we get a 5/5 red and green elemental token onto the battlefield. When Omnath or one of the other elementals dies, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Ulamog. If you're going to be reanimating, you might as well reanimate the biggest stuff. When you cast it, exile 2 target permanents. That does not trigger if we reanimate it from our graveyard. It is only upon cast. Ulamog is indestructible, and when it attacks, it exiles the top 20 cards of our opponent's library. That's a very good win condition should it not get removed from the game. And last but not least, Kozilek the Great Distortion. When you cast him, well, never mind, because we're never going to be casting him. We technically could if we had out 2 Seer's Lanterns, but we don't have any other colorless sources in the deck to pay the actual colorless cost here. But it is a 12/12 with Menace, and will allow us to discard a card with converted mana cost X to counter a spell with converted mana cost X. The mana base is 2 islands, 5 swamp, 1 mountain, 2 Wandering Fumarole, 2 Smoldering Marsh, 2 Sunken Hollow, 2 Drowned Catacomb, 2 Sulfur Falls, 2 Dragonskull Summit, and 4 Evolving Wilds. The Evolving Wilds are almost exclusively in the deck to help us shuffle after we cast Ever After to get it off the bottom of our library and give us the potential chance of drawing and casting it again. Well, that is the deck list. Cross your fingers, maybe we'll win a game. Okay, I think this is fine. We've got turn 2 Cathartic Reunion along with a couple of reanimation spells and something worthwhile to pitch into the graveyard. We'll go ahead and keep this. We'll lead off with the Smoldering Marsh so that we can, well, maybe we're desyncing. But we're going, yeah, oh well. So that we are able to cast this on turn 2, as we're not going to be able to play it untapped for a few turns otherwise. And just because we're playing a bad deck doesn't mean we shouldn't try to play well. Since the deck is horrible, our only chance to win is probably through playing well. So, we'll play our Dragonskull Summit. We're going to play Cathartic Reunion. We'll discard Kozilek and a Swamp, as we already have 2 black here. Alright, that's a pretty good draw. Gave us another reanimation spell, another draw and discard spell. We are kind of just durdling until we get to the mana necessary to cast our spells. Let's go ahead and play an island so that we can catalog on their instep. Looks like they may be playing a deck with some madness in it. Drownyard Temple. Ooh, Teamer colors. Interesting. Let's go ahead and catalog. Alright, we will discard the Gaea's Revenge. Kind of regretting discarding our Swamp now, as we still need another mana source. Let's play a Mountain here. So we should probably Cathartic Reunion here to try to draw mana. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll discard the 2 Rise from the Graves. And we got an Evolving Wilds. That is unfortunate. Probably should have held off playing our land for the turn until after we had reunioned. Though perhaps we will draw something untapped that produces mana. Ah, nice. Not punished. Well, let's Necromantic Summons. We want Gaea's Revenge. Harder to kill, and it is hasty, and it is a 2-turn clock. Excellent. And do they have an answer? They have Woodland Bellower, sort of an answer. Getting a Wreck Sage, okay. Well, we could just swing in and let them trade their Bellower, because we can, ever after next turn, getting back the Revenge, plus Kozilek. Or we could just Necromantic Summons after we attack. Let's start by attacking here. Need to be aware our opponent very much could be playing counter spells, which is bad for us. Let's go ahead and, we could just Necromantic Summons back Kozilek, and then we've got lots of pitch fodder to counter spells. Yeah, let's do that. We've got 2 3-drops, a 4-drop, and a 6-drop. Might as well go ahead and fetch with this, because we need the 6th mana to even be able to cast Ever After at this point. And now either of these is lethal if it connects. I've got a feeling they may be playing fogs, though. Well, let's swing in. Perhaps not. Oh, yeah, there's the fog. Waited till the last possible second, the AI did there. Alright, I don't think we have anything else to bring back, and we don't. So let's just go ahead and try to cast Oath of Jace. Alright. I'm going to discard these 2 Radiant Flames. Want to keep making my land drops. Well, if they've got fogs going on, they should be swinging with that Woodland Bellower. Because the more they delay actually killing us, the worse it gets for them. That was a good bounce, as we can't recast that from our hand. Drowner of Hope is awesome. Yeah, let's do that. And then, sacrifice an Eldrazi to tap this thing down. And we should win here? Oh, they don't have green up to fog. Guess they could... Well, no, not with what they've got. Red and colorless just doesn't do it. So we won a game. Ha-ha! I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah, we can't keep this. One land is not going to get it done. That, on the other hand, is a fine hand. We'll keep that. Unfortunately, we're on the draw. Alright. We'll lead off with our Smoldering Marsh. Then we can play our Sulfur Falls untapped. And Cathartic Reunion. And as we've got all of our colors, we don't really have a use for the Evolving Wilds at present, so that will be what we discard along with Kozilek. Buy and buy. Alright. Now we want to draw one of our mana accelerants, then we can play it into Rise from the Grave. Is our opponent on mono red and just going really slow? It seems so. Ooh, a Gaia's Revenge. Need a way to get that into the graveyard. We don't really have anything to cast, so we'll play our other Smoldering Marsh out. Alright, we're both going really slow, which is good for us, usually. And we're making all of our land drops too, so we'll just sit back until we can begin to smash face. Which hopefully begins next turn. Alright, for mountains. They have to be missing a color, right? Let's see, we don't have spell mastery, so we're just going to rise from the grave on Kozilek. We got 2 5s, a 4, and a 7. Do we even care about this thing? We could counter it, I suppose. Oh, we'll continue playing. Might as well counter it if we've got the ability. Counter this, and pitch a rise from the grave. And now we'll have spell mastery for Necromantic Summons. A Plated Crusher, still needing a discard outlet here. But 12/12 Kozilek is quite alright as a beater. And they did indeed have a second color. There's the swamp. Just vampires with an extraordinarily slow hand here. Okay. Well, let's try to win. Okay, we got exceedingly lucky there. Please, please don't take these 2 back-to-back wins as an indication that this deck is good. If you want to play it for fun, that's fine. Just please don't be under the illusion that this is a good deck. But anyway, let's continue. This is not a good hand. We need a discard outlet. Our opponent is mulligan to 6. We're going to mulligan again. Yeah, this is a lot better. We have a discard outlet into Rise from the Grave. However, we do need to draw something to reanimate with the Rise from the Grave, as well as drawing a 5th mana source to actually cast it. Alright, another reanimation spell. Let's go ahead and play a swamp. That way our buddy lands here can come into play untapped. Don't know if our opponent missed sacking their Evolving Wilds there, or if they meant to leave it uncracked. Let's play out a Drowned Catacomb into Oath of Jace. Sacrificing the Evolving Wilds now for a swamp. So I am expecting with this avatar that they are on Grixis. Though maybe not. That was a good Oath of Jace. Let's pitch Plated Crusher. And let's pitch... Let's pitch a Rise from the Grave. Want to be able to make sure we're able to cast our reanimation spell. Hopefully not running it into a counter spell. There is Liliana. That's unfortunate. She's really hard for us to deal with, as you might imagine. We need to resolve a reanimation spell and have it not be countered. Alright. Well, we could Cathartic Reunion. Discarding these 2 lands, but I think that's a little bit risky, as we might not draw a 5th land. Let's hope our opponent taps out here, so that we can resolve our Rise from the Grave unmolested. Whispers of Emrakul. So discard a card at random. Alrighty. Well, we're not going to have to worry about counter spells, as 1 mana just doesn't do it. Where these are sorceries, they could have Dispel, but that only counters instants, rather. Looks like they are just straight Dimir, black and blue. Drowner of Hope's good. However, we want to rise from the grave. And hopefully they don't have a sacrifice card like Oath of Liliana or Fleshbag Marauder. Alright, continuing to tick up. They have a blocker. If we top deck a mana source, we have Drowner of Hope to tap that blocker down. We need to keep Lily from ulting, though. That is for certain. We did not. We don't have another creature in the graveyard, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and attack Liliana. They're pretty well obligated to block. Where this is trample, though, we'll still do damage to her either way. Or just let her die, which is fine with us as well. Let's go ahead and Cathartic Reunion. Discarding Drowner and Necromantic Summons. Alright, that's pretty good. We'll play our Evolving Wilds and also play Seer's Lantern. We're not going to crack this. We want to save this to shuffle after we resolve Ever After. That is, assuming we do resolve Ever After. Still a very good chance that our opponent is playing some number of counter spells in their deck. Alright, swinging for 3. And drawing some cards. Whispers of Emrakul probably have Delirium. They did. So we lost our Ever After, unfortunately. We are not going to scry. Another Evolving Wilds. Let's swing for 7 first. Then we will play Evolving Wilds and we'll sack one of them. Go ahead and get a second red source so that we can activate Wandering Fumarole, so should we want to. Then we'll pass. We'll be using the lantern to scry at the end of our opponent's turn. Which is why we went ahead and sacrificed the other Evolving Wilds. You always want to do any shuffle effects you have before you scry. If you're putting something on the bottom of your deck and don't want to draw it, you probably don't want to shuffle it back in and risk drawing it. And Tezzeret. What was this? Implement of Malice, okay. Making a mana artifact. Do we only have the one other creature? We do, just Drowner of Hope. Alright. Well, really has no effect for them except drawing them a card at this point. So we didn't have cards in our hand to discard. Let's not forget, we want to scry. We do want that. Thank you very much. And we want to do this pre-combat. Yeah, that's fine. So that we can for sure deal with Tezzeret. They could block and soak up 2 damage, and then we wouldn't have enough to kill him. Let's go ahead and tap this down, sacking a Scion. And kill Tezzeret. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this. Only have one Ever After left in the deck at the moment, so... Battle at the Bridge. So, killing a Scion? Because even with the improvised, you don't have enough to kill this. You can't target this. You can do 6. And if they target this, I just sack it and it fizzles so they don't gain the life. They could just drain this for 6 just to gain 6 life. What would have been smart was for them to attack first and let me block, but now I know they have it, so I'm not going to block. Obnixilis, okay. Going to kill with the Ob, yes. Do I sacrifice? No. Could have sacked the Scion to tap this down. Where this tramples, there's really no need. Cathartic Reunion, well, we can't cast that as we don't have 2 spells to discard to it. Let's go ahead and kill Obnixilis. They could block here, simply to trigger the buyback from Scrap Trawler. Would let them get back their implement here, if they wanted to. Choose not to, well, we'll pass. Intending to scry. Swinging for 3, we will not be blocking. Battle at the bridge on my Scion. I mean, that's all that you can target with it. Let's go ahead and scry. Oath of Jace. Sure. Alright, let's play that. We'll keep the one that's already there. Doesn't really matter. Okay. We will discard, yeah, those 2. And I'm not going to attempt to ever after into this open mana. Let's go ahead and swing with both of these. And pass back. Putting us to 11. If they don't have something here, though, they are dead. Battle at the bridge for the umpteenth time. Targeting their own thing, okay? I mean, that works. They get back their implement, gain some life. They're still dead, but, you know, they gain the life. Let's go ahead and scry. I guess they're hoping we forget about the Wandering Fumarole there. I'm not going to. And against all odds, we are going to win our 3rd game in a row. Which blows my mind. I don't do this well with this deck, generally. We'll swing for 12. And our winning streak has to end sometime. Probably the next game. Tune in to find out. Yes, thank you. Though we are missing red for the Cathartic Reunion. Okay, leading off on Oath of Nissa, and we're up against Emrakul. So this is probably going to be where the party ends. Ulamog, okay. Well, Sunken Hollow, pass. Maybe we'll get lucky and top deck a red source. Sylvan Advocate. Is this mono green? Maybe. Alright, no red source, so we play a land and pass. It is looking like we are against Stompy. Ooh, green ramp. Gotcha. Maybe splashing colorless? Alright, that's good. I mean, I would like to cast this, but I think the more relevant thing to cast at present is probably Oath. Although we could play the Caravan, and then Cathartic Reunion, and if we hit a land, Oath of Jace both next turn. So yeah, let's do that. There we go. And explosive veggies. Gotta eat your veggies, boys and girls, so that you can beat down the bad old Reanimator deck. Alright, we need to get something going or we're going to lose really fast here. And that's not exactly what I was looking for. Probably should cast the Oath first. Alright, well, we'll discard these two big baddies. Then we will play either one of these is fine. They both come into play untapped. And we will Cathartic Reunion as well. Go ahead and discard these. Alright. Well, they have enough mana to Gaia's Revenge us. Woodland Bellower, though. Getting a Tireless Tracker. Kind of expected a Rex Sage to kill our Caravan. And I honestly might have made a mistake. I probably should have held on to this Drowned Catacomb to for sure be able to ever after here. Probably. So we can reanimate a Ulamog. Block here, we would still be taking minimum 7, maybe 8. If they've got a Primal Bellow, we're just dead. Which I suppose if they had a Primal Bellow, it doesn't matter even if we reanimated 2. The Primal on any one of these would be enough to kill us. So, let's go ahead and Necromantic Summons then. And pass. Go ahead and grow the Tireless Tracker. And now we could be looking at 9 even without pump spells if they have another land. Play and sack makes this a 5 power. And they do. Oath of Nissa. Alright. Little bit of missequencing on the opponent's part. Should have cast the Oath before they played their land, but I don't think it's really going to matter. And yep, that is correct. We have to block the Belor. Sack. Yep. And they could still draw a pump spell and kill us. But no, we get one more turn to suffer. And we drew a land, though. So, Drowner of Hope. Then we can tap 2 and block 2. If we reanimate and they have any removal spell at all, we lose. Yeah, I think... Or we could just Noxious and gain some life here. Yeah, I think Noxious is the best option at present. And we will get rid of the tracker. Yes. And we will still pass. We can't afford to be swinging. Oath of Murasa. Okay. Belor. Yep, Belor. So they could be casting Ulamog of their own. They have 10 mana. And they would get the exile trigger since it's going to be from their hand. Ticking up on Nissa for a Rec Sage. Okay. So probably going to be saying goodbye to our Caravan here. Nope. Ulamog, and we are almost certainly just dead. Drowner of Hope could hold us in for a little bit. Going to 1 here, though. So, we could Ever After and get these two, bringing back Summons, and just block for a turn. We could Drowner and tap this down. I think I like Drowner in this circumstance. All right. Ticking up on Nissa again. From beyond, okay. Gaea's Revenge. That's a little unfortunate, though it does let us rebuy our Drowner. We definitely want to tap this. Sure. Block. And From Beyond. Thankfully, they already have Ulamog out, so there's no Ulamog to be searching for with that From Beyond. Now is the time for Ever After. And we will get Drowner and Plated Crusher. And we will crew with our Scions. And swing with Caravan. At Nissa. Okay, good. Probably still going to lose this game, but we're clawing on right at the edge of the cliff. other Nissa. I think they probably want to try to ride this one, though. She's almost at ultimate. Alright, now we say goodbye to the Caravan. Let's just go ahead and do this so that we don't get screwed over if the game won't let us pause. And there is Bellower. For another advocate. Well. Could go for Greenwarden. I think we're going to attack with Crusher at Nissa. We need to deal damage to her in some fashion. Alright, trading Bellower for Crusher, and we'll deal some damage to Nissa. That's good. Keeps her that much farther away from ultimate. We want to go ahead and sack this since we have an Ever After on the bottom of our deck, so shuffle it back in. And let's Necromantic Summons back our Plated Crusher. And pass. Evoli. Feel like that's a little bit of a mistake, maybe? Because all they need to do is get through 1 damage. And those 1/1s certainly can deal a damage. Our only way to gain life is gone. And yeah, that's game right there. Alright, good game, opponent. We knew it had to end eventually. Sure. Just kill me with the ballista. Please? Please kill me. Put me out of my misery. Thank you. I'll see you guys in the next one. No. Yuck. Sure. I mean, it was the best of what we saw so far, so... This hand lacks both creatures and reanimation spells, though, so that's bad. We are drawing lots of lands, however, so... let's Cathartic, pitching a mountain and an island. Okay. Hello, Alchemist Vial. Probably going to see blue in that deck as well, since the Alchemist Vial generally synergizes with that. Ulamog is nice. Let's plan on discarding him to catalog it there in step. No, red instead, okay? So it is a hidden stockpile deck. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll discard Ulamog as we had planned. I think we're going to go ahead and Cathartic Reunion. pitching this and the other Cathartic Reunion. Alright, still no reanimation spell. Very sad. We'll play Evo Wilds. And actually, I think we do want to go ahead and sacrifice it. Just in case we top deck a reanimation spell, we want to be able to cast it. Alright, Foundry Inspector. And a Renegade map. So they could Alchemist Vial their own creature to trigger Hidden Stockpile if they wanted to. Implement, okay. Could just sack the Implement. They went to end step, they don't want to do it now. Or maybe they do. They're past the trigger point for this, so they will not get a servo. Do we want to Radiant Flames this little thing away? No. Just go ahead and play our Seer's Lantern and pass. Alright, second Foundry Inspector. That's going to be looking good for one of our board sweepers. That will activate this, so they will get a servo. However, we're going to kill it come our turn, so... Scrap Trawler. So they could recur either the map or the implement. It would make them able to recur with these as well. However, all they can get back are these two, so it's not so bad. They're going to draw 2 cards, though. Okay. Let's play that. And then we'll go ahead. We don't want to tap the Lantern, so we'll make it for 3 so that that doesn't happen. Yep. Only choices they have. And now we're able to scry. Yep, and also drew 2 cards from the Filigree Familiar there. 2 of them. Familiars. Plural. We could cast this, but then we wouldn't be able to scry, so I'm going to pass. Alright, there is the Renegade map we know about. Activating... okay. Getting us dead. Let's go ahead and scry. Sure. That gives us more looks at a relevant spell. Casting Implement and no further mana, so it's our turn. Let's go ahead and do this. We don't want to use the Lantern, please. Alright, there's a Summons. Let's go ahead and discard the Plated Crusher. And now I am going to go ahead and play the Seer's Lantern out. Interaction worth noting, since it is in our hand here, you don't want to cast Radiant Flames off of Yahenni's expertise, because if you do that, you aren't paying any colors, and X would be equal to 0. So, I mean, you could cast it, but it wouldn't do anything at all. What? Oh, Sorry. Sorry, opponent. Got a little carried away explaining that there. So what do we want to be reanimating here? Probably just the... Ulamog. They could have, well, no, they could have Deck and Stone, so... Or, Anguished Unmaking, so Plated Crusher is the better choice. That is, unless we draw a Ever After and then we just get them both. But we didn't, so... Let's leave a Seer's Lantern untapped, please. 1. I don't want any of your stuff, thank you very much. I would much rather get a Plated Crusher. Then we could just go ahead and Radiant Flames and clear these, I suppose. Sure. And I'm going to hold the island just in case of Cathartic Reunion draw. Alright, taking a damage there, drawing a card. I mean, I know they wanted to draw a card, but in all honesty, they probably should have waited till their turn just to trigger their hidden stockpiles. It only triggers on their turn, not on ours. Ooh, Planar Outburst. Interesting. Not something I was expecting to see out of that deck, but it's certainly good here. And, Awakening onto the Swamp there. Alright, pass. Yahenni's not able to kill that, whereas a Languish would be. Alright, another Renegade map. That one we did not know about. I don't think, anyway. Nope. There's the other one. I think we should block. Yes, thank you. Or attempt to. Alright, so they're going to get servos. We're going to take 6 and go to 5. They're going to gain 2 to 30. Let's go ahead and scry. Drowner is good. Sure. So, we could Yahenni's just to clear these. That would leave... Let's see. Enough. Yeah, we can cast both of these. Sure, let's do that. And it can sack to scry. If you're not familiar, here is Hidden Stockpile. Then we'll cast our Drowner. And hope it keeps us alive for a turn. Another Planar Outburst here will just outright kill us, I think. Pia's Revolution. Alright. That is spicy. Sure, you can have it back. Okay. Bottle Gnomes, cool. And we are just getting card advantaged out here now, which is horrible, but nothing much we can do about it. Not with what we're running. Oath of Jace, sure. Do we want that Languish? Huh. What is in our graveyard to bring back? Plated Crusher? I think we do want the Languish. So... yeah. Sure. Sure. That was not good. Languish? Yep. Nope, you can have it back there. And mistapped the mana there. Should have paid more attention. We wanted to keep a lantern up to scry with. Though with Jace, though it's Oath of Jace on the board, its trigger would allow us to scry in our upkeep, whereas you normally can't do that in Magic Duels. It would prevent us from having 3 mana, but yeah, we're going to skip. Need the Drowner to block. Alchemist Vial, well, we're not going to be blocking with the Drowner then. If they don't want us to. Forgot they had that. Sure. Yeah, get it back. Otherwise, we're just dead. And put us to 1. Triggers? Good thing the way these work though, no matter how many things they lose and trigger revolt during their turn, they only ever get 1 servo per hidden stockpile. Ever After is great. I don't think it's enough. So we want... I mean, Ulamog's probably our best chance of winning. We could get Omnath, but I think probably Ulamog and Plated Crusher is what we want. Let's please leave our Seer's Lanterns untapped this time. Confirm. I mean, they only need to connect with one thing. With the Alchemist Vial to keep us from blocking. And still animate a land. Though I guess they probably have enough to just make all of these unable to block and kill us with one of these. Or animate both lands. And then we don't have enough to block. Alright. Took a while, but they eventually got us. We'll take 3 damage. Just save time. Well, can we manage to win one more game? Or is the deck just too terrible to allow that to happen? Did we exhaust all of our luck in those first 3 games that we managed to win somehow? Probably. I still honestly don't know how we managed to pull that off, but it is what it is. Alright, well, I think that's our play. Ulamog and 1 summons. Alright, well, it drew us a land, though it's in Evolving Wilds, unfortunately. if we draw back-to-back untapped lands, then we can turn for Necromantic Ulamog. I mean, so that's a thing. That's a very specific set of draws, though. And it's not going to happen. Oh well, more's the pity. Go ahead and fetch. Get another swamp. And now, since they are Cathartic Reunioning, we will as well. It gives us the indication we probably won't need these Radiant Flames. Alright. They are on Grixis as well. Are they trying to reanimate, or are they doing... Oh, they are. There's an Omnath. Speak of the devil. This will be interesting. Play out Seer's Lantern. Go ahead and play our other Evolving Wilds and pass. Well, actually, we want to fetch with this, so we don't forget. Sure. Get a blue. There's a Dragonskull Summit. Hopefully they don't have counter spells. They could be running them, but I think we just have to jam and hope. And they're not. Good deal. Could bounce this back to our hand, though. That could be another way to deal with it. Take inventory. Okay. And it looks like we're going to get to swing with... And they have left. Well, now we know Uladaddy is probably the game. Let's attack before doing anything. And we got their Ulamog, so that's great. We're going to main phase catalog here. Right, we didn't hit a land, which was what I was kind of digging for. So we're going to discard the Yahennis. Then we're going to also Cathartic Reunion, discarding Gaea's Revenge and Greenwarden. And there's some lands. There's Omnath as well. When it rains, it pours. Necromantic Summons of their own. Getting Greenwarden. And buying back Necromantic Summons. It's not going to matter, though, I don't think. We have Gearhulk to kill this and then kill their face. And so that's what we shall do. Well, friends, this has been an interesting and, honestly, much more fun and much more successful than I imagined edition of Friday Night Magic. As always, the deck list is in the description below if you are a masochist and wish to suffer as I suffer, then feel free to check that out. But that will be it for this episode. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like below. It really does help tremendously. And of course, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me in the future. I have been Teveron, and until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.